What are you at? It's Paul from Wicked Acorn. I haven't even got dressed today. It's 7:30 in the evening, and I haven't even got dressed today. I've been working on this mosaic someone asked me to make, and that's been my day, working on that. But it is the 21st of August, and today in history, we have a whole video about this day in history, but we got a little tidy up from our last video, which was quite a while ago because we went on holiday, kind of unexpected little holiday we went on, and we had a great time. And I put out a video today on one of those little adventures. It was in a place called Ulster, and I was walking along and saw this bollard with a Manchester bee on it, and I was like, what the hell is that doing here? So that's what today's video is all about. So go have a look at that. That's a bit of fun. A Manchester bee. Ulster couldn't be more in the middle of England if you used a laser ruler. But there's a little tidy up from the last video, last live stream we did. And I was asking you about this. And I'll just let this play here a little bit. And I was asking you if anybody knew why this guy, this is Cody, he's the first man to ever fly in England. And I was asking you if anybody knew why he has that black band around his arm. And nobody answered. A pretty obvious thing, I guess. Most people would know why, but it was just a little curious question if anyone knew why, if that was a thing here. Obviously it was a thing here because this footage is in England, and but he was American, so I don't know, was that a thing in England? So obviously, anyway, it's a thing I remember. I never did this, but I know of this thing. Like, it was in my parents' time, this was a thing, but not in my time. So does anybody know why he has a black band around his arm? Not specifically why, but why in general he has a black armband. And I'll just let it play a little bit more because today in history is the birth of Claude Graham White. Was born this day in history in 1879. And Claude Graham White, I'm just going to fast forward here. Claude Graham White, his distinction in aviation is he's the first man to ever take off at night in a plane. But we know him here as the other participant in the famous London to Manchester air race. He lost the London to Manchester air race, unfortunately. Anyway, that's another great video. You should check that one out. The London to Manchester air race. He lost to Paulan, and this is in Didsbury here. This footage. So if you're from the Didsbury area, you might have some family members in this scene. Fantastic. Fantastic photos. Film. And I was talking about that machine and how it looks like a piece of junk, but it doesn't really when you look at the modern reconstruction of it.
Фарман, регистрационный номер, изготовлена...
We looked at that last time. Anyway, so it's Claude Graham White's birthday today, but that's not what we're going to talk about, because this day in history, on the 21st of August, 1893, we have a whole video about this one, and today is, hello, baby with a laser. Today in history, is the first barge to cross the Barton Swing Aqueduct. Today in 1893, it opened officially to traffic on New Year's Day, 1894. But the first barge, I guess the first test flight, was today in 1893. Yeah, 1893. So we got a whole video about this, and I'm going to let this roll, and we'll see what happens. This is the Barton Swing Aqueduct. It's a brilliant example of Victorian civil engineering. It takes the Bridgewater Canal over the Manchester Ship Canal. Apart from being powered by electricity, it operates the same way today as it did in 1893. The original Barton Aqueduct was the jewel in the crown of the Bridgewater Canal. It was just here alongside where the Swing Aqueduct is now. When it opened in 1761, it was the wonder of the age. People came from all over the country to see it. The Bridgewater Canal started a period that was known as Canal Mania. It kind of reached its conclusion here in the same place with the Manchester Ship Canal. In 1887, the first sod was cut for the Manchester Ship Canal. It would follow the course of the River Irwell. Brindley and Gilbert, the men responsible for the design of the Barton Aqueduct, could never have foreseen the Manchester Ship Canal. It was obvious that the original Barton Aqueduct would not be high enough to allow the tall ocean-going ships to pass. Something new was needed. Brindley's stone aqueduct would have to go. A few ideas were tossed around on how they could get the Bridgewater Canal across the Ship Canal. The idea of a double flight of locks was rejected because they couldn't afford to lose all that water every time a barge needed to come down one side and up the other. The swing bridge wasn't a new idea. As a matter of fact, it was thought the most sensible solution to replace the nearby road bridge. Working off Brindley's idea of a bridge full of water, they thought, why not build a swing bridge full of water? It was and is the only swing aqueduct in the world. The new aqueduct was designed by Sir Edward Leader Williams, engineer to the Manchester Ship Canal Company, and was built by Andrew Handyside and Company of Derby. The first barge crossed the new aqueduct on the 21st of August, 1893, and it opened to commercial traffic on the 1st of January, 1894. Williams was also involved with the Anderton boat lift, another moving canal structure in the region. So I went to do a video on the lift aqueduct, and it was just when lockdown had eased up, and so we went and we had a tour set up to go and get a tour of the whole facility and the mechanism and everything, and the guy who was doing the tour got COVID, couldn't do it. So that was a bit of a drag. So there's a whole bunch of footage of the aqueduct there, and yeah, maybe someday I'll show it to you. First order of business was to build an island. The swing bridge and the aqueduct would be controlled from a brick tower on an island in the center of the Ship Canal. But before they could do that, they had to divert the River Irwell so they could build on dry land. Those Victorians didn't mess around.
Anything worth doing was worth overdoing. The bridge and the aqueduct are sort of like giant lazy Susans. Swinging the bridges from a central point cuts the span in half. One end balances the other, and there's still plenty of room on either side of the island for ships to pass. They were pushing the limits of their technology. The aqueduct was essentially the same as the bridge. It weighed 1,450 tons, 330 feet long, but it also had to hold 800 tons of water. You might think, well, why not just drain the water out before you rotate it? But that's why the idea of locks was rejected. Water was precious to the Bridgewater Canal. They couldn't afford to lose 800 tons of water a dozen or more times a day every time a ship needed to pass.
So if you're just joining us, it's This Day in History. On this day in history, on the 21st of August, 1893, the first barge crossed the Barton Swing Aqueduct.
The Lazy Susan consisted of a 27-foot race plate with tapered cast iron rollers and a circular gear track. The cast iron rollers were eventually replaced with steel because they started to deform, and over time the aqueduct dropped a few inches. Another ingenious part of Williams' design was the use of hydraulics. In the center there was a sort of hydraulic jack. A pair of Lancashire boilers supply water under pressure that would lift the bridge ever so slightly. This system took half the weight of the structure and allowed it to rotate more easily. He was so pleased with its performance he incorporated the idea into subsequent bridges. He even did a retrofit into several he'd already completed. The original means of power for the barges on the canal was supplied by horses. The Barton Swing Aqueduct had a suspended towpath 9 feet above the water. Unfortunately, it was removed, and the Barton Swing Aqueduct is now the missing link in the Bridgewater Way.
I don't remember when I did this video. It was a couple, 3 years ago, and I think it was maybe in February-ish. That's what the vegetation looks like, February-ish, and it was a fantastic day. And I got there, and the swing aqueduct was swung into the middle. And when I first saw it, I went, "Oh, damn! I came here to get footage." And actually, I went there to get footage for something else, and figured I would do this at the same time. And it was at first a big disappointment. I was like, "Well, no, this is great. You never see it like this." Anyway, it was a very interesting day, and I've forgotten what I was going to tell you about there. I'll let it play again. I'll come back and tell you when I remember. It was probably a lie.
It's my favorite trail in the area. There's quite a diversion to get back onto the towpath on the other side of the ship canal.
This is one thing I wanted to point out to you. I haven't been back to this place since we did this video. And just look at the bench on my right-hand side there, on the left-hand side of the screen. There's a bench there with a tree growing up through it, a huge tree growing up through the bench. I wonder if it's still there. If you know, let me know. My live volume is off. Oh, I think it's back on now. I hope. Okay. Hopefully my volume is on. As I keep saying, that's why we do these live streams, so I can figure out how to operate all these controls here and talk to you at the same time. Yeah, I wanted to show you that bench with the tree growing up through it. And just down in the middle of the screen there is another crane, a stop plank crane, and I wonder if they had used that one during the breach, if they used any others. So I didn't go up to these locations to check. The one in Sale wasn't, of course, wouldn't be necessary, but I wonder which ones were brought into action other than the ones right next to the breach, which weren't entirely successful.
There's talk of reinstating the towpath across the aqueduct. I think it'd be a great addition to the area. The Victorians certainly thought so. There are 4 doors to keep the water in.
How's that, Darren? Is that audio better? For some reason I had the mic turned down, not off, but down. Hopefully that audio is a little better.
Two on either end of the canal, and one on each end of the aqueduct. This is our stop plank crane. We've talked about them before. It's a safety measure here now, and a way to block off a section of canal for maintenance and in case of a breach. Along with its sister, the Barton Road Swing Bridge, it's a lesson on how we need to tolerate each other and get along. Traffic on the bridge and the aqueduct can be held up by the ship canal at times. It became a major nuisance during rush hour at the height of the ship canal. But eventually, everybody gets to where they need to be. The Barton Swing Aqueduct is kinda in dry dock right now for some annual maintenance. It's scheduled to be closed until the 21st of March. I'd planned to come here for some footage for another video and found out it had been drained. I think it was worth the visit.
So that's, yeah, I went there to get footage for another video that I never finished. And part of the reason for that was the mill in Alderley Edge. I've been trying to get out to the mill in Alderley Edge, and they've had no water this year. And anyway, a lot of things get in the way of these videos, like Arthur Murray, the Sail Cruising Club. We got a video coming up about the Sail Cruising Club, and it's taken me so long to edit the video. And Arthur sent me a message offering me a trip across the Barton Swing Aqueduct. And I had the sailmakers market that weekend, so I couldn't go. So that was a drag. But Arthur, if you're listening or watching, I'll go any other time than during the sailmakers market. So if the offer is still open for another trip, I'll certainly take you up on it. So yeah, today in history, the first barge went across the Barton Swing Aqueduct in 1893. So there were a couple of things from the last video, and that was, let's see, we did the Cody video. This video, I showed this video last time. Let's get rid of the farm and biplane. And this is video, it's the first video of, okay, why is this not playing? This is the first film taken from a train in this location in our area here in Greater Manchester. So I'm just wondering if anyone knows where it is. I know where it is, but I'm just wondering if anyone would like to hazard a guess as to where this footage was taken. It's the very first footage ever taken from a train at this place in Greater Manchester. Very first time there was a camera on the front of a train at this location. So we got that. That was left over from our last video. You go down in the mines at Alderley Edge. Yes, my children have actually been down there with the scouts. And yeah, that could be an interesting thing to do. I've seen video of it, and yeah, that could be an interesting thing to do. The video, I forgot to mention why why I went to Barton Swing Aqueduct. I was going to do a video about mason marks, and I've got all kinds of footage of mason marks, and it's not that unusual a thing. They're everywhere, but it's a thing that a lot of people don't know about, and it's just a thing that tradesmen do. It's what we do when we're marking things. You know, when you want to line up something, or if you're working piecemeal, you know, like you get paid for the piece that you make. So you sign the piece that you made. So you when the paymaster knows who gets paid what for how many pieces they make. And that's all they are. They're just initials or a mark, a mason's mark. And you know, there are carpenter marks as well. And you find them all over the place. But they're quite interesting, you know, that they're carved in stone, and they're kind of like ancient runes. But they're anyway, they're all over the place, and I've collected lots of footage of it. But I wanted to get out to the mill at Alderley Edge for Astrex. Very good. Can you not hear me now? Is my audio still not working properly? Hopefully it's working better now. Yes, it is a model train, and it is the Manchester Model Train. I forget the name of the group, the actual group, and I went down and did some footage. It's their 100th anniversary this year, and I went down and we got a video coming up about. Thank you, the audio is good. Yeah, I went to the model train, and I didn't even know there was a model train association or group here in Sale. So the Manchester Model Railroad, I've forgotten the official name, group is just right down Mersey Road, is it? Across from Eyebrow Cottage there. And it's a huge community of people, and fantastic. The layout of the trains, the model railways, it's just amazing. The amount of detail these guys go into making these things, it's just incredible. I'll just put it on here again. Just it's yeah. Of course, there's a lot of giveaways there, isn't there? It's like the fire extinguisher in the background. But yeah, I thought I would leave that in just for a bit of fun. I could have used the part without the fire extinguisher, but I didn't want to make it too hard. But they tell me it's the first time there's ever been a camera strapped to the front of one of their trains. And it was quite difficult to do because uh, the tunnels that the trains go through, all the trains have to go through these two tunnels. One of them is kind of small. And the only camera I have is my phone. So I had to rig up uh, a piece of mirror on on the phone like this. So it's not great footage, like a little periscope kind of thing. Anyway, that was a bit of fun. uh, but anyway, they told me it's the first time. I don't think you could even get a GoPro on there to go through the tunnel. It's because imagine the height of a model train. I mean, the tunnel is only about yay high. It just fits the train. So you put a camera on top of the train. Anyway, it was a lot of fun and it's amazing, and you'll see that sometime soon. And you'll see the Sail Cruising Club video soon. And what else do we have to talk about here? Oh, there was one other snap from last time that nobody used to be a great model railway village in Debdale Park in Gorton. Not sure it's still there. Sounds good. The fire extinguisher is what gave it away, was it? Yeah, it was a lot of fun doing the model train thing, and what a great bunch of guys. It's fantastic. And there's all ages there. I think the youngest one is like 16 or 17, all the way up to in their 90s and so on. So yeah, all ages there, and what a fantastic layout. So it's kind of a big setup where people, you know, members don't have a big setup to run their trains on in their own homes, so they can bring their own trains, or I guess they have trains there to use as well. But I loved it. I've always wanted a model train setup. I've always wanted to make one, and so it's been a secret passion that I've never got to fulfill. But there was one other photo. So we got the Sail Cruising Club. We're working on that one. Another one with Rick Ainsworth that's in the works. There's so many videos on the back burner that are in the works. So you'll see those soon, hopefully. There was one other. Oh yes, I left you with this photo last time. We were talking about the Battle of Britain. I can't remember this day in history event that brought this photo up, but I showed this photo, and it's another little thing we've been doing here. Can you figure out where this is? It says Pageant of Victory 1944 down the bottom, and I assume that is the VE Day. The actual VE Day, not a commemoration. Or thereabouts VE Day. So, can you name that location? Somewhere in Trafford, obviously. So, we'll, world peace, the pyramid. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. It is the Pyramid Cinema. And the organ just above the Pageant of Victory 1944 there is the giveaway on that one, because it could be just about anywhere in England, couldn't it? I'm sure there were many such pageants that day, or that week, probably that month. So that is just about all I have to say today. I wanted to get back to the live streaming because we were away on holiday, so I got a couple more videos coming up of our holiday, my vacation photos. You get to watch my vacation photos. yeah, so there's a couple more of those coming up, and put one out earlier today of Manchester Bee I found in Ulster in the middle of England. It's I looked it up on Google Maps. It's 99.8 miles from Manchester Cathedral, Ulster, in the middle of England. What's a Manchester Bee doing on a bollard 100 miles from Manchester? Check it out, watch the video. And I guess all I can say is see you in the next one.